Witches are mighty, enhanced warriors trained to take out some of the most fearsome creatures known to man. So why aren't there more of them? Because when the first witches were created, they were part of one grand order, with dozens if not hundreds of witches prowling the continent to make it safe for humans, even eventually splitting off into several different witcher schools, with each taking a handful of witches with them. Yet by the events of both the Witcher books and games, the number of witches active in the world has dwindled down to barely enough to fill a tavern. So what happened to these brave monster hunters? What terrible terror could decimate these witcher schools, and why don't we see any new witches being created? Well, the reasons are various and diverse. But part of the reason witcher numbers are so few is that it's just rather difficult to make them. For starters, finding new candidates to become witches was almost solely reliant on finding suitable candidates from the refugees, orphans, and cast-offs abandoned on city backstreets. And upon recruitment into a witcher school, these numbers were only to be whittled down even further by the infamous Trial of the Grasses, in which a group of sorcerers would subject the Witcher initiates to a number of mutagenic potions designed to alter their bodies. These potions, however, have horrific and painful side effects, causing days of excruciating pain and essentially culling a vast majority of the Witcher initiates, with no more than 3 or at best 4 in 10 of them surviving the Trial of the Grasses. And making it through the Trial of the Grasses is by no means a guarantee of becoming a Witcher, as while the previous ordeal will have given you the body of a Witcher, you'll still need to pass a series of other trials, judging your strength, wisdom, and combat prowess. Failing to do so will result in an initiate not receiving their Witcher medallion and dropping out of the school, further stifling the numbers of new witches. Another reason for the lack of witches is far more insidious, as while witches have never been particularly popular individuals due to their cold personalities and isolationist tendencies, they were initially viewed by many as guardians of the people against the very monsters that preyed upon them. This perception and the popularity of witches amongst the common folk began to change at some point, however, with the monster hunters being viewed as anything from grumpy, emotionless loners who were unmoved by the fates of those they were paid to protect, to greedy, nefarious schemers who would lure monsters to human settlements as a way to extort the locals for coin. And as time went on, these malicious rumours and tall tales of greedy mutant witches, brought to life by vile godless sorcerers, only became more prevalent, being spread by various groups including the Churches of the North, envious magic wielders, and the paranoid rulers of the Northern Kingdoms, all with something to gain from the downfall of the witches, and those sorcerers responsible for their creation. Certain members of Witcher society also did little to combat these rumours. One of the Witcher schools in particular, the infamous Cat School, was renowned for producing a cadre of psychopaths, madmen, and sadists, either a side effect of the unique mutagenic compounds used to create these aggressive witches, or a result of recruiting particularly violent outcasts from society. The foul and merciless qualities of the Cat School Witcher is best seen in the various massacres of villages undertaken by members of this school. In the Aiello massacre, the Witcher Brayan let his aggressive tendencies get the best of him, allowing tensions to simmer into a brawl with the townsfolk, which later overflowed into bloody carnage. And in The Witcher 3, we also come across another example of a Cat School Witcher losing their temper, when the Witcher Gaeton takes on a contract to kill a Leshen, troubling the villages of Honiton. Upon killing the beast, Gaeton is then betrayed by the village elderman, who instead of paying the Witcher, attempts to stab him with a pitchfork. Now you could justify Gaeton striking back against the elderman, except his bloodlusted vengeance wasn't quenched with just one kill. He viciously hacked down an entire village of men, women, and children, leaving just one young girl spared of his violent tendencies. Incidents like this, combined with the rumours swirling around the reputation of the witches, eventually erupted into violence against witches across the Northern Kingdoms. Sometime before the events of the Witcher novels, Kaer Morhen, the mighty Witcher keep and home to the School of the Wolf, was assaulted by a bigoted mob. The gates of Kaer Morhen were buckled in by the magic of sorcerers, supporting and spurring the peasant mob forwards, and eventually the combined might of the peasant rabble and these treacherous sorcerers was enough to overwhelm the witches present, slaughtering them alongside the young witches in training and the sorcerers overseeing the Witcher trials, taking with them the knowledge of the mutagens, trials, and changes required to produce new witches. The Wolf School wasn't the only school to come to a violent end. Many of the other Witcher schools founded after the splintering of their order also met similar fates. Following their failure to destroy a cabal of vampires, the mighty and strong Bear School witches were destroyed by outraged peasants from the surrounding villages. The witches of the Cat School, notorious amongst royal circles for their willingness to serve as assassins, had their keep besieged by various royal armies, putting an end to the sorcerers within and reducing the school to those few witches who escaped. While the scholarly witches of the Griffin School were assaulted by a group of envious mages, bitter that these witches kept from them their important magical books and knowledge, with the mages causing an avalanche to fall upon their Witcher keep. And despite these Witcher purges being somewhat shunned, and a handful of witches escaping them, no great efforts were made by the Northern Kingdoms to rebuild the Witcher schools, in part due to there now being a lack of knowledgeable sorcerers ready to recreate the Witcher creation process, but also ironically because due to the Witcher's own good work, there was now little need for monster hunters, as many of the monsters that preyed upon humans during the time of the Witcher Order's founding were now either extinct or too few in number to cause a significant threat to the well-established Northern Kingdoms. As such, the witches were to fade into obscurity, a loose collection of wandering monster hunters, resigned to taking what work they could find, as their numbers eventually died out to the claws of the very monsters they were created to destroy. How many witches do you think are left in the lands of the Northern Kingdom? Let me know down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to Lore Tours to get your passport to your favourite fictional universes. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.